Hey everyone, so now that we've talked about the different camera types and what's going on inside the camera, the shutter and the sensor, I wanted to talk about what happens next and file formats. How is that picture actually saved? And there's a couple factors that come into which file format you would choose to save to. One of them is RAW. And this is introducing some fairly complex things because RAW is uncompressed. And really when you think of file formats, you need to think about compression because this is going to be, how is the computer inside your camera changing the image that you're taking? Because a RAW image is uncompressed. All the data that sensor is able to save is being saved in a very big file, and typically the reason that you would shoot RAW is that you want to do some color correcting, or maybe you want to zoom in a little bit on the image you've taken. You'll have a lot more information when using RAW. And on the flip side, you have something like JPEG, and this is more compressed. You'll be able to take a lot more photos because it doesn't take up as much space on your card, on your memory card. But you also lose some information. Your shadows and your highlights, you're gonna have just less space to work with. I just want to introduce you to RAW versus JPEG, compression, and how that affects your images. When talking about file formats, typically you're talking about RAW, you're talking about JPEG. The main differences being that RAW takes up more space, JPEG takes up less space. So when traveling, maybe you want to take more JPEG images. But ultimately, if you want to be doing some of that tweaking in post, you'll need that RAW image just because there's so much more data there. All right, everyone, so that's it for me on this section. I hope it is useful for you, and just know that there's a lot of information when it comes to photography, whether it's how the camera works, how it's saving the files, and what you do with those files. So we'll be covering a lot of this stuff in future sections. We're just getting started, so don't be overwhelmed if all this seems like a little bit much to you, because we will be going over it in more depth and detail later on. So for now, thank you very much, and here's Phil.